In April of 2021, the NCAA ruled that athletes no longer had to sit out a full year before they would be eligible to play, and since then, we have unsurprisingly seen an astronomical increase in players transferring from school to school in search for more playing time, a better school, or more. However, out of all the guys that have been a part of the transfer portal, very few men have had an experience similar to JT Daniels. JT Daniels, man, if you guys don't know at least a little bit about his career already, then that shocks me because this guy's had one of the craziest college careers that we have ever seen. In this video, we will go over his lengthy career as a college athlete and see if he even has a shot at making it to the next level. As a man who came out of Mater Dei as the second ranked QB in the country and now is using his last year of eligibility to play for Rice, a lot has happened for this guy, which means that there is a lot to cover, so let's get into it. So coming out of high school, JT Daniels was ranked as the best player in California and the 6th best player nationally. Dude had offers from basically every school in the country, but decided to stay home and play for the Trojans. Once he arrived there, he got his chance really early since he started for USC in his true freshman season. He had a less than average year, but it could have been better. He ended the season with 2,672 yards, with 14 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. The interception number is a little high, but to give him the benefit of the doubt, he was a true freshman, and we have seen much worse from other young starters. He was set to have a much better season in 2019, but that is when the injury problems started for him. The guy did not even get to play in one full game, as in the season opener against Fresno State, he suffered a torn ACL and meniscus. Because of that injury, he was not able to play for the rest of the season, and the guy that took his place had a great year. That guy was Kedon Slovis, another true freshman who honestly had the season that JT wished he'd had in 2018. Kedon did not only finish the Fresno State game, but finished the entire season and ended the year with 3,502 yards, with 30 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. So when the 2020 season approached, it was clear who the coaches and fans wanted as the starter, and it was not JT. Because of this, JT decided to enter the transfer portal for the first time and committed to the University of Georgia. In the 2020 season, he would only see action in the last 4 games of the year, but he was the starter in all of them. He most likely would have been the starter for the whole season, but that injury he suffered from at USC was still hindering him. A torn ACL and meniscus is an extremely serious injury, so a quick recovery was not really in the cards for him. But when he did get his chance, he had a crazy stretch since he finished the season with more yards than Stetson Bennett, even though he played in just half as many games. Along with yards, he had more touchdowns and less interceptions. So for the first time in his college career, we were seeing the talent and capabilities that this guy possessed, but injuries continued to hinder JT. Going into the 2021 season, he was poised to have a great year considering how he ended the 2020 season. In the season opener versus Clemson, in which Georgia won, he did not play very well, throwing for just 135 yards and an interception. Following the game, it was revealed that JT was bothered by a strained oblique muscle. The injury was not nearly as serious as the torn ACL and meniscus that he had suffered from, but it still needed to be dealt with because it was holding him back. The coach's answer was to limit his reps in practice and watch him closely with the hopes that he would return to full health. During his time of recovery, Stetson Bennett proved to be a really good quarterback, so once again, JT was pushed out of his starting job because of injuries. Looking at the season as a whole, he played in 5 total games and ended the season with 722 passing yards, with 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Now, that strained oblique muscle was the only injury he suffered from in the 2021 season, so I'm not exactly sure if it was more serious than they were making it out to be, or Stetson Bennett was just the better player, but JT's time at Georgia just did not pan out the way that he had planned. But on the bright side, the Bulldogs won the national championship that year, so he technically is a champion. However, he once again decided to enter the transfer portal after the 2021 season, and this time committed to West Virginia. So he arrives in West Virginia and once again starts the season as the starter. He was the main guy almost the entire season, but towards the end is when it started to go downhill for him. It was late in the season when West Virginia played Oklahoma that JT struggled mightily and was replaced by Garrett Green as the starter for the remainder of the season. Up to that point, he was not having a horrible year by any means, but it really just wasn't cutting it in the eyes of the coaching staff. He was having a less than average year, and the main reason that it came down to when replacing JT was that Garrett Green was a more mobile quarterback and opened up the team's rushing game, while JT, most likely because of his injuries, has never even finished a season with positive rushing yards. So because of that and a couple other minor things, he was once again put out of his starting job, which would now be the third time in his career. So now with 1 year of eligibility remaining, he has decided to play his final year of college football at Rice, and to be honest, I'm not sure if an NFL career is salvageable for him at this point. To be fair, I don't think we've seen JT at full strength quite yet. There are certainly times in his long career that we can point to and say, that's why he was ranked as the best player in California. But unfortunately for JT, there is just not enough consistent high-level play for coaches at a big Power 5 school to give him a chance. We saw him play a full season as a true freshman, which was average at best, but the potential was there. Then we saw his 4-game stint with Georgia in the 2020 season, where he had over 1,200 passing yards in the span of 4 games. But with the injuries this guy has had to deal with, it probably has had lasting effects on parts of his game, including his mobility, and because of that, it's looking like he just is not the same player he was 5 years ago. So if I had to pick out one thing that could boost JT's draft stock more than anything, it would be his mobility. I know that he is a traditional pocket passer type quarterback, but his immobility is definitely a problem at this point in his career, and if he can improve that, I think that other qualities will follow and it will set him up for success. Again, I think that an NFL career is pretty much out of the question at this point, but you never know. I hope he proves me wrong, and I hope that his final year of collegiate football at Rice goes very well for him. Well guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and share the video, as that helps the channel to grow. Besides that, until next time.